Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association Lunch and Learn webinar series, 6 weeks to improve resiliency for farmers. Today's webinar session is exercises during work. And we want to invite you to join us for 2 additional sessions, Thursdays 12:10 to 12:40 through May the 14th. Upcoming webinars are tools for insomnia, which I think many of us deal with, and lifestyles for high performance moving forward. See more details at coloradoproduce.org/COVID-19. I'm Adrian Card with Colorado State University Extension and board member of the Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association. I'll be your host for today's webinar. Today's webinar will equip you with the tools to increase stamina throughout the day and train your brain to focus better. We will discuss what it means to get healthy movement throughout the day, as well as how to return your body and brain to baseline in order to improve energy and endurance. Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association is the go-to resource for Colorado's fresh fruit and vegetable farmers. We connect Colorado growers with industry, government, academia, and consumers to strengthen and expand Colorado fresh fruit and vegetable production. For more information, go to cfega.org, coloradoproduce.org, and follow CFEGA on Facebook and Instagram. CFEGA would like to thank its sponsors. These include in the platinum level, John Deere and Western Growers. Gold sponsors are Agfinity, American Ag Credit, Food Maven, and Cicada Farms. Silver sponsors, Aquatic Resources, Bijou Seeds, Certis, Colorado Potatoes, Decade Products, D-Line Box and Display, Dasani Farms, Fagerberg Produce, Go and Seed, Holler Seed, Farm Credit of Southern Colorado, Hiracata Farms, King Supers, Landmark Packaging, Millburger Farms, and Monta Vista Co-op. And additionally, Nature Safe, Netafim, J&J Supply, Organic Supply, PSL Law Group, Rocky Mountain Farmers Union, Seedway, Strohauer Farms, Target, The Packer, T&T Packaging, Valley Irrigation of Greeley, Western Sayre, and Whole Foods. Many of us are aware that webinars have been hacked lately, and if this happens to us, I'll attempt to end the disruption and remove that attendee and resume the webinar immediately. But if that's not possible, I'll end the webinar immediately, and we'll do our best to reschedule with you. During the presentation, you can mouse over the the toolbar at the bottom of your Zoom window and find a Q&A button. Lauren's going to engage with you there with questions and feedback from you. You can optimize your Zoom window to fit whatever monitor configuration you have, so you can drag that, resize it however you need. We'll conduct a few polls during the webinar as well, and at the end to get your feedback. And finally, this is recorded and will be posted to coloradoproduce.org/COVID-19, and the polling is not visible in the recording. Very excited to have our presenter back again, Lauren Ziegler. She began teaching mindfulness and meditation in 2012 and is a leader in the Center for Mindfulness at Colorado State University. Lauren holds a degree in psychology from the University of Minnesota with an emphasis in mindfulness-based stress reduction. She has advanced formal and clinical training and is certified with the International Association of Yoga Therapists, and has expertise in working with spinal decompression, chronic pain management, and anxiety. Lauren is a speaker and educator leading over 100,000 people in guided meditation for stress reduction, relaxation, and deep sleep. She provides a blend of education and practical experiential tools showing you how to use them as needed to feel better, to think better, and to work better. Lauren, thanks so much for being with us today. We'll pass over to you.
Thank you, Adrian. And thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate your presence. And if you were here in the last few times, then I'm excited to have you back. We've been talking about 6 weeks to improve resiliency for farmers, and I've been giving some really great tools, especially in the past few weeks, hands-on, and today's going to be also very practical. So we have looked at resilience, managing daily aches and pains, hands-on tools for stress management, and here we are today with exercises during work. I want to just plug next week because we have tools for insomnia, which Adrian mentioned is going to be extremely valuable, I'm sure, for a lot of you. Type into the Q&A if you think that you'll come next week. If you think that that's going to be something for you, you can just say yes if you need those tools for insomnia. I'm really looking forward to that one. Last week, we talked about how you think about stress makes a difference. And if you believe that stress is harmful for you, it has a different effect than if you believe that stress and the symptoms of stress, like your sweating, heat, heart rate, those feelings of pressure, might actually be symptoms that are motivating you to meet the challenge, preparing your body to meet the challenge. So how you think about stress really makes a difference. And it's completely within your power to look at stress as something that can actually help motivate you. We looked at a cortisol massage, which is a wonderful biofeedback tool to get rid of the cortisol or the stress hormone in the body and start to process some of that. So before we start with this week, I have a question for you. During work, are you up and moving around or mostly sitting? And I'm seeing in the Q&A that some people will be there. Sick of using Benadryl, I see, no doubt. Yeah, great. Yeah, little hint, the tools that I'm teaching next week are the same tools that I use consistently. And it's been amazing to have something that's so reliable. So I'm excited to share it with you. What are we seeing and what are people doing most of the time?
Looks like a mix, Lauren, about half and half, moving and sitting.
Okay. And then as just a follow-up question to that, let me know if you are moving around. So if you answer that you're moving around a lot, are you lifting, pulling, doing repetitive movement, tractor driving? Are you leading work crews? What is the motion that you're doing most of the day? So you can type in the Q&A. We're just thinking about what is the motion that you're doing most of the day. And I would love to know. Moving right along, we're going to talk about exercises that you can do during work. Okay, I'm seeing Anna's is definitely repetitive, kneeling and pulling. This is helpful for me to know because I'm going to recommend some exercises and movement strategies. And it really depends on what you're doing most of the day. So what you're doing most of the day, let me know in the Q&A and then I can get a little bit more specific with my recommendations. We're going to talk about getting back to baseline with taking micro breaks, mini breaks throughout the day. We're going to talk about breathing. I'm going to give you a breathing tool to increase stamina and resilience. And like I said, some mindful movement tools. So during the day, do you make time for exercise? Because I love this. What fits your busy schedule better? Exercising 1 hour a day or being dead 24 hours a day? It's harsh, but we often push these really important things off, right? And I wonder, do you try to make time for exercise? Yes or no? And this is really about, of course, we all know, we're all told that exercise is good for us. This is really about your routine, your values. Is it something that you're thinking about on a daily? Like, got to get that in, or not really at all?
Most people are, looks like it.
Are.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Yep.
Yes, regularly. Okay. And then a follow-up Q&A for you guys that are making time for exercise and that are moving around a lot during the day. What does your exercise look like? Is it also a lot of movement? Do you try to walk, swim, run? You can type that into the Q&A. So moving around frequently during your day is really what the research recommends. It shows that moving around during the day is more important to longevity than moving a lot several times a week. I think that's really interesting. Moving around throughout the day is more effective than exercising 3 times a week. Regulating your breathing while moving is also shown by research to improve heart rate variability and therefore resilience and stamina. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and I'll show you a really, really good way to regulate your breathing while you're moving. So lots of walking, interval training, and sports. Okay, thanks for your responses, guys. Really interesting. Keep them coming. So this is the brain after sitting quietly. And then on the right, this is the brain after 20 minutes of walking. So the 20-20 rule. This is to move around every 20 minutes. So that's a good recommendation. That's what the research says. Move around every 20 minutes, once a day, then move around more than, you will move around every 20 minutes. And then once a day, you move for a duration of 20 minutes. Does that make sense? So you move every 20 minutes, you do a little something. And then you try to move for a period of 20 minutes once a day. So I like this. It's like spacing it out. It's not like you have to go, schedule a whole hour for your exercise. You can actually just do little bits. And I'm going to show you some useful things you can try out for those little bits of movement. So every 20 minutes, this increases longevity and improves brain function. I've gotten into the habit of this. So when I'm sitting at the desk for a long period of time, my body will just like automatically go into one of these stretches that I'm showing you, just because it's become habit. So I find myself doing it and just getting a little relief, from the consistent posture every 20 minutes. So let's look at heart rate variability. That's something I mentioned earlier. And that is something that is this is an interesting way to measure your stress resilience. This chart here is completely oversimplified, but we're going to look at, do you have a high heart rate variability or a low heart rate variability? And I'm going to show you a non-invasive, interesting way to measure this. So take your fingers and bring them to your pulse. You can either bring them to the pulse on your, at the top of your neck, or the pulse on the wrist of either arm. You can just sit and put your feet on the floor and then feel around for your heartbeat. So this is actually going to tell you something about your stress resilience. If you feel that it's rhythmic and consistent, that means something. And if it's kind of sporadic, that means something. And what it means might surprise you. So try this. Breathe in. And as you're breathing in, feel and count the beats of your heartbeat. How many beats it takes to breathe in. And then try breathing out and count the beats it takes to breathe out. I'll give you another couple of breaths to try this out. It's subtle, so you have to kind of focus in. Now what we want is on your out breath for your heart rate to be slower. You actually want it to be a little quicker on the way in, and then significantly slower on the way out. So you won't have a consistent rhythmic. It won't be the same. It might be a little slower on the way out. And what that is a variation. So a variation between the in and the out. And if it's a little slower on the way out, or much slower, that means you have high variability. And that means a healthy nervous system. So the more variation, the more of a change there is between in and out, then the healthier the nervous system. So you can play around with that. The low heart rate variability, that is if it's consistent and it's just kind of the same when you breathe in and out. And that has been correlated with worsening depression and states of anxiety. And then people with high heart rate variability have more resilience to stress. So this is like a bio signal for us about the state of our nervous system. And when you have more resilience to your stress, in your stress response built in, you have more stamina, endurance, and ability to perform without getting tired. Let me know if you have any questions about that in the Q&A, and I will circle back and answer those. If you didn't feel much of a difference, that's okay. You can try it out later when it's more quiet and you can maybe feel it. But let me know how that was for you. can type into the Q&A any questions, and then also let me know, do you have high heart rate variability, or did you notice a low heart rate variability right now today? Okay, diving into the breathing tool. This is something that will raise your heart rate variability and therefore resilience to stress and ability to maintain more stamina and more endurance throughout your day. This is a breathing tool called friction breathing. And I am so excited to show it to you. Let's do it right now. This is something that I find so helpful when I'm walking around, when I'm waiting in line, when I'm working on something and thinking really hard, or when I'm trying to relax or take a break or focus up my mind so that I can keep going. Let's try it. So go ahead and clear your throat out loud. And you can feel those inner throat muscles likely as you do that. They vibrate a little bit in your throat. Those are the muscles that you'll use to do this. So we're going to use those muscles to create a little friction to your breathing. So as your breathing slides in and out, it's got a little bit of a friction to it. It's going to have a sound to it. So try with your mouth open, as though you're going to see your breath in the cool air. And that's the sound. And then try that on the way in as well. Might be a little more choppy, a little difficult, but make that sound on the way in and out. Good. It's like Darth Vader, or like the sound of listening to a seashell. So close your lips, make the same sound, but through your nose and through your throat. And if it went away on either the in or the out breath, then just come back to your mouth open to try to find the sound again. It just takes some time getting used to it. And with your mouth open, it's dry and difficult to sustain. So you can use that as practice, and then closing your lips gently, make the sound. You can make the sound very loudly without straining too hard. I'll show you an example so you can hear it. So this becomes an excellent way to metabolize some of the extra juice, extra stress in your system, to stimulate the part of the nervous system that will give you higher heart rate variability. It will increase your endurance by switching you into the rest mode. And the cool thing is, like I said, you can use this while you're working. You can use it as you walk. So you hear the sound, and every step you might take, you can count, like, and you start a really consistent breathing going around whatever you're doing. So a really great way to have something else to adhere to in your mind other than the thoughts, other than the worries. So for a lot of reasons, it gives us more stress resilience. You can then do it more quietly. And you can do it more inward so that you hear the sound, but maybe other people around you don't. And what that does is it brings you inward to a state of meditation. It cultivates more mindfulness and meditation. It also cultivates more body awareness. So for those of you that are moving around and doing a lot of work, kneeling, pulling, lifting, bending, use this while you're doing your work, and it will help keep you safe because it brings in that body awareness, so it prevents injury. It also warms the muscles and prevents injury. So try it while you're doing things, and then try it while you're not doing things as a deeper practice of just sitting, breathing that way, and noticing. And you will feel the effects after a few minutes of doing that. If you'd like, you can just keep doing it for the duration of this presentation and let me know what those effects are. Next, I want to share some mindful tools. These are for movement, and these are really helpful for those of you that in the past, our past sessions have said that you have back pain going on. So this is really, really good for low back pain. I'm going to share a couple of things for those of you that said that before. If you'd like, you can try it right now. So this is a glute stretch, and you need a chair. And if you have a pinching sensation in your knee, then I would recommend that you don't try this. If it's a subtle pinching sensation, flex your foot, and that can help. So try sitting towards the front of your chair with your feet planted evenly on the floor. Then press your feet and legs into the floor as if you're about to stand up. This allows your spine and your core to engage upright posture. Then relax your legs, but maintain the upright posture. Bring your right knee up towards your chest. You can grab it with your hands and then cross your ankle over your left thigh. And you can stay right here. This might be plenty. Again, a little flexing of your foot can help with any knee discomfort. And then at your own discretion, you can slowly lean forward over your thigh until you feel the muscles in your hip stretching. And you stay for a few breaths, up to 6 breaths. It's a good way to measure the time. And then to come out, you tilt your body back upright and uncross your ankle. And if you went ahead and did it, then repeat now for the other side. Crossing your ankle, so then slowly leaning forward. You might stay in the upright position or just see. You want to lean forward. You go to the point where the sensation is there, but not too much. And again, you might be doing the friction breathing while you're doing this for double benefit. And then come on out when you're ready. Placing both feet on the floor. Now we're going to do a lunge. So this lengthens hip flexors, and it is extremely helpful for those of you that, half of you that are sitting a lot. This is going to be yours. Good for those of you that are moving or sitting, but especially for sitting, because during those periods you shorten these areas around your hip flexor. So this will be really helpful for your lumbar spine as well. So go ahead and turn to the side of your chair. You can turn fully to the right first, and then adjust your position so that your right hip is on the seat of the chair. Hold the back of your chair with your right arm and hand, and then extend your left leg back so it lengthens your quads and hip flexors. You feel a pulling through the front of your left leg. And then stay for about 6 breaths. Using this breathing as you're doing it. You can engage the lower part of your abdomen a little bit. So engage your core a little bit to prevent extra arching in your low back. Little core engagement. Pressing your foot back. You can flex your back foot. Let your left side kind of hang down a little bit off the side of the chair, holding with your right arm. And then when you're ready to come out, bring that back leg forward and then turn your body fully to the left side. Go ahead and repeat the process on the other side. And so nice, Adrian, that you get to do this on the beach.
Yeah, my yoga retreat.
Yeah, how'd you get a chair out there? So play around with how much you're going to flex your back right leg. That can intensify it. Engage your core a little to protect your low back. And then feel that pulling through your hip flexors. A little stretch there. Maybe a lot of stretch. And then come on out. And you can sit like a normal human being on the chair again. And now we're going to do a forward bend. We did this last time, but this is just, I wanted to repeat this. It's extra useful. Proceed with caution if you have a current spinal disc injury. All right, so depending on the nature of the injury, it's still safe to do, but just wanted to throw that out there. Sit towards the front of your chair with your feet planted evenly on the floor. And then again, press your legs and feet into the floor as if you're about to stand up. Then relax your legs, but maintain that upright posture. As you breathe in, lengthen your spine, and then as you breathe out, bend forward from your hips, lean your elbows onto your thighs. Pause here for a couple of breaths. And then you may proceed further by sliding your hands down to your shins or onto the floor. Little pressing of your feet into the ground still so that your back can completely relax and hang. Let your head hang down as well. Maybe take some of those friction breaths while you're here. And when you're ready to come back up, press your hands onto your thighs and bring your body upright. So it can really be that quick. That's what I do, just really, really quickly. I don't stay there that long. So seated side stretch. This will stretch, this is good for those of you that have shoulder and neck and headache things going on. So sit towards the front of your chair again and do the same thing where you press your feet down and feel your spine nice and upright, but then relax. Bring your left hand to the chair beside you and lock that arm straight. Bring your right arm out to the side and turn your right thumb up and then backward, rotating your shoulder backward. Bring that arm up alongside your ear and then forward and in front of your face. Lean over to the left side. Both arms remain straight. You can let your left shoulder pop up and lean your ear into your shoulder if it's comfortable for your neck. Both arms are straight and you're getting a side stretch through your rib cage, chest, maybe even neck. Bring that arm back down and then back upright and go ahead and do the other side. So bring your right hand and arm to the side of the chair. Lock that arm straight. Left arm out to the side, thumb up, thumb back. Bring your arm up and then slightly forward in front of your nose. Lean into your arms, both arms straight. And then take some breaths. You can feel your rib cage and lungs expand as you're doing this, stretching kind of like an accordion. You open up as you breathe in. This one this is not just for your shoulder or just for your side. It's actually for your rib cage and upper spine. So it really helps with posture and any tension in your upper body can come on out. And then sit upright. I want to show you one more. This is also one of my personal favorites. So for those of you that are doing a lot of the sitting, this is going to be really important. This resets your posture and relieves tension throughout your shoulders. So sit towards the front of your chair again, feet planted, and then bring your arms out to the side with your elbows just slightly bent and your palms facing upward. And then take your shoulders all the way up towards your ears. Imagine if they had to be like this all the time, really uncomfortable. Slide them back down. Slide them all the way back down where you would want them. And then again, bring them up again. Breathe in. Slide them back down as you breathe out and then squeeze your shoulders back using your upper back muscles. Now stay there, hold them there, and then breathe in. And then breathe out, squeeze shoulder blades together across your upper back and slide them down. Hold for another breath or two. And then release. You can repeat that if you like. So notice the effects of that movement. Just notice right now real quickly. And feel free to type into the Q&A any questions about any of that. And also reflections. How was that movement for you? Do you notice the difference in how you feel right now? That was about less than 10 minutes. So you could use those things for your sequence of taking a micro break. Or you could just use one. You just kind of check in and see, okay, I've been sitting a lot. I think I'll do these ones on the side and then back and then right back to work. So they can be really short micro breaks. For your homework, I would love for you to practice this friction breathing. Like I said, I've done a lot of learning about different techniques and different things through my studies throughout the years. And it, for me, always comes back to this simple technique. It's so reliable, really nice to have. And you'll find yourself needing to remind yourself to do it, and then it will become more automatic. And so during a stressful time or during a moment where you have to really gear up because you gotta get ready for this project you're about to do, this breathing will kick in and will really help support you through that. So we'd love to hear from you. A polling question about, did you learn something? Did you learn something new? And will you use it? Now, if you want more review on that breathing technique, it's understandable. It takes some practice, maybe a few days of doing it for 5 minutes before it starts to become more natural. We're going to review it next week when we talk about tools for insomnia as well.
Lauren, great educational impacts. Really good.
All right. Yeah. Nice, everyone. Well, thank you for joining, and I'm really glad that you found it useful, and I'm really glad that you will use it. You have 48 hours to apply that, so start doing it right away. Just remember to do this friction breathing for 5 minutes a day, and start that within the next couple of days so it becomes habit for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Excellent. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Join us next week, same time, for Tools for Insomnia. Register for each webinar at coloradoproduce.org/COVID-19, and look forward to seeing you all next week. Invite friends. This is not just for farmers, so spread the word. Really appreciate you being here, and have a great day. Thank you.